Hello there, guys. Welcome back to another one. Welcome back to another one. And in this video, I'm just going to be giving my real thoughts on how I think Chelsea can line up this season and how we are going to probably see Chelsea lining up with some new signings that have already come into the club. The new, the new ones, the Mega that is coming from Strasbourg, Baku that is also coming from Strasbourg, Tavaria from Rayo Vallecano, which is I don't know what is waiting for the club to announce him. But I think from the news, he's already signed to Chelsea and is already a player, but they've not just done the announcement. And Marco Palestra, who has actually been very good this preseason, is a joy to watch. Giovanni Quenda coming from Spurton, who have actually been wonderful. Esteva, who last season we did not really see a lot of him because of injury and all of that. Um, Enzo going to stay. The news recently that have come out today was like saying there's a high chance or possibility for Enzo to stay, but I think Enzo still needs to communicate to Xabi Alonso, know what his place is in the team, knows to know like, am I one of your first team? Am I an important player for you? What do you think about me? And what do you think we can do to move this club to make this club to go further? Also Anselmino, and also one more player that has been actually briefed today to be coming to Chelsea, who is Lewis Kelly. Lewis Kelly, I would not mind because he's a left back, or sometimes he plays as a left back, drifting to the midfield. Lewis Kelly, who I would not actually mind if he comes to Chelsea because I know how good he is. If you notice from last season, towards the end of last season, when Arteta started using him in the midfield together with Zubimendi, I think, or either he removed his Zubimendi and then he used Declan Rice together with Lewis Kelly, they started winning their games more convincingly and they started playing more beautiful and more convincing football. But I don't know why Arteta does not really want him. But I don't really think it's also a situation from Arteta's side. I think it's something that the player himself wants actually, or maybe his what do you call it? His agents trying to push for something that they want from Arsenal themselves, or they want from Arteta. Probably a situation where they want Arteta to how do you say it, to assure him that it's going to be like with the first thing, that is it's going to be like a sporadic or a more involved kind of player. Looking at they've brought in Bruno Guimaraes and they still have Zubimendi there, although they've sold Norgard now. They still have Declan Rice, they still have all of these midfielders. Is a and the other guy. But Lewis Kelly, if he's to come to Chelsea, I would not actually mind. But we already have a lot of people on our books that we need to sell a lot of these players. Like a lot of them needs to get out before we can even think about bringing in another person. We've brought in, I think, two are for literally nothing. I'm talking about Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson. Literally for nothing. They like nothing. We did Rogers signing. We've brought in Marco Palestra. We've brought in Pep Chavaria. Those and we also brought in Lacroix. Quite a decent, for me, quite a decent transfer window. If there was something I would have added, I'm not. I'm fine with Sanchez being the goalkeeper, but I think we should have brought in someone like a Diego. Uh, I don't know why I keep missing his name, but the Portuguese goalkeeper Diogo Costa, to kind of make Sanchez more on his toes. But since we don't have Champions League football, I don't think it's actually necessary because if we did have Champions League football, then we have 2 games a season, or sorry, 2 games a week or 3 games a week, and then we'll be able to see someone like Sanchez and Diogo Costa interchange all of these games, all of these minutes. Mike Penders, even though I'm not a fan of always interchanging goalkeepers. But now let's get into the height of today. First of all, not all the players that are on our books are here, but anyone that comes into my mind and then I remember they are not here, I'll tell you what I actually do think about them. I think there are some of these players that needs to go on loan. Even some of the ones that are here, I think some of them still needs to go on loan. Some of them still needs to be on the bench and not really be a first team starter. We don't have a lot of games. This is a disadvantage of not getting European football or Champions League football or Europa League football because there are not a lot of games. In our first week, we are starting with 3 games already. That's Premier League, Carabao Cup, and then another Premier League. But we'll see. And then there's still one more preseason game to go. That is against Real Sociedad. And we'll see how that game goes. We'll see how that game goes in the next 2 days. So concerning how I think my team or the team is going to set up is something like this. Joao Pedro as the number 9, even though in the second build up I'm going to show you, I actually do think we can set up in a 4-4-2, something like this. I do think we can set up in a 4-4-2 where we have two strikers or two pressing strikers. But it actually does not really matter because once you begin to press, and which I've seen actually with Xabi Alonso this season, or sorry, this preseason, is he has sometimes pressed the two-man who's actually done some kind of mid-block with the 4-4-2, which actually did work, even though we did not win the game. It was the game against Tottenham. We did it against Tottenham, and then we also did it in this last game that we just lost 3-3. Sorry, not lost. I think it's kind of a loss against some people that are not really. So that was what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Like I can see a situation where a two-man striker, Jackson as the second striker, Mogarola as the second striker, Joao Pedro as the main head, they press together. Nicolas Jackson pressing really hard. I said in my previous video, I'm not ready to release Nicolas Jackson yet. Nicolas Jackson is actually one of the players who, if he goes to a team like Tottenham, or if he goes to Manchester United, or if he goes to even Aston Villa, he's the type of player that will actually hurt us because he's been with this squad for a long time and he's a runner. He knows how to press. And yes, a lot of people on a lot of opinions, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everybody saying, oh yeah, as being a footballer, I don't really care if you can press, but I want you to be able to link up the ball and pass the ball and everything. But the truth of the matter is, if you've known me, if you've watched some of my videos from previous times, one of the reasons why I rate a Vitina or a Joe Gomez is the ability for them to always keep on running, and the fact of not just maybe running at full speed, but the ability for them to always keep on that press, at least jogging around the field, jogging around the pitch, walking into tight spaces, and all of those situations. You can see from me Diego Simeone's sons, like the way that guy presses is one of the key abilities of an Atletico Madrid. So if we have Nicolas Jackson, and we saw Nicolas Jackson together with Cole Palmer 2 seasons ago, how they both linked up the plays. Nicolas Jackson was always pressing. It made it difficult for other teams to always do play from the back and all of that. And then if you have like that two link up presser as number 9, a Joao Pedro and a Nicolas Jackson. I don't know so much about Morgan Rogers pressing because he's always like on that left, inside left 10, which brings us back to this formation. It's always a inside 10. So I don't really know about his pressing, but if there is that sequence of press, it's actually Cole Palmer that do press with Joao Pedro those times and also with Nicolas Jackson. Now, to the other two, inside 10 is Rogers and Palmer. Back up with Esteban, Nicolas Jackson, Jamie Gittins, and Mikel Mudryk. News has come out that Mikel Mudryk is actually probably going to be going on loan. I would want him to go on a loan to a Premier League club. Let him get acquainted with the Premier League game. Let him get full minutes. Let him get his fitness up. Less pressure in all those kind of things. Less pressure. The only pressure that you have is you knowing that the Chelsea owners or the board of directors actually watching your progress and looking out for how you are playing. Sorry, guys. Are looking out for how you are playing. But apart from that, I want Mikel Mudryk to stay as a backup, but it's not actually looking feasible and it's not really good for his development. He needs to go out on a loan. Another place I can see him going out on a loan to is some people say Strasbourg, but I'm not really occupied with Strasbourg. I think uh, Italy is actually going to be good because of the defensive capability of Italy. And then if Mikhail Modric can actually beat those defenders, beat the defense in an Italian team. Yes, I know over the years they've actually drawn back, but if he can do something like that, then he would be ready and he will play a lot of games, more minutes for him, get his fitness up, get his experience up, and all of that. He's 25 for Christ's sake. He has lost over 3 years of his career. Going to the midfield, Enzo and Caicedo. This is actually the no-brainer for me because Enzo and Caicedo have been the two midfield pairing for over the years. And this is actually if Enzo does not leave. If Enzo leaves, there's been news that they are going to bring in an Alex Scott and also an Adam Watson from Crystal Palace, respectively. If that happens, then it's good. That's if Enzo does not leave. But with Enzo in the squad, as you have seen it, there is a situation where we can see something like this. If we have like a Lavia in the team, where Lavia is the one in the deep line here, how do you say it? Uh, Obstructing the counter from the people because we'll probably have a lot of the ball this season. Pep Chavaria from that's coming in for Real Vallecano. They've not announced him yet, but I know he's already going to be a player with a backing of Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto has been linked with Arsenal recently, also with Manchester City, and also with Tottenham. I would want them to get him. I'm not really so concerned if a Pedro Neto can come to hurt me or anything. We have a regime that can lock him up or Kulu or any of those people. He's a very frustrating player. You guys know he's a very, very frustrating player. So that's my midfield backup Esugo. Now, Esugo is actually someone that I think still needs to go out on a loan. And if Esugo goes out on a loan, they cannot actually loan Esugo because if you loan Esugo, there's no backup for Caicedo. Maybe that is where another Martin comes in. But looking at it like that, Esugo cannot go out on loan. I think he just needs to get more fit. And he needs to know what he's doing more. Because he looks like a bright, shining star from the last season when he was playing, when he could play before he got injured. He looked like a very good, solid backup for Caicedo. But after some while, or this preseason, he has not been really at it. He has not been really good at it this season. Marco Pelestra and Giovanni Quenda. This position, I have no problem with it at all. Whether it's a Marco Pelestra that is there or a Giovanni Quenda, I have no problem. The reason why I have no problem is because, and this is one reason why I want Pedro Neto to go, because if Pedro Neto can go, it gives the ability for these two players to show us what they are made of. Yes, I know it's not a season or we are not a club to begin to let our players come and say, okay, this is what I'm good at or whatever. But yeah, so far what I've watched from them in this preseason, both of them are solid and both of them are good. Although Marco Palisha has some flaws in defensive capabilities, but Giovanni Quenda is actually a very good player. This guy shoots a lot, and he's not even scared to take on his man. He's not even scared to do any sort of things that he just feels like doing. It's like that kind of free player that, bro, I'm free to play. I run around the pitch and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and that's why I like him so much. Wesley Fofana and Rich James have problem here. There's a very, very big problem here. A very, very big problem. Two injury prone players, and I'm not putting them to them, I'm not spiting them. Two injury prone players, captain of the team, and someone that we cannot really trust because of his previous characters that we've seen getting a red card and then is smiling from Wesley Fofana. There's a very big problem. But the fact is, defensively, on their like their defensive attributes, I'm not really too concerned. Even though Wesley Fofana sometimes have the ability to Oman Solori, like used to tweak in the brain. Yeah, I'm not really having so much problem with that. So I would want a Wesley, even though if they sell him, they can get like a 50 million for him, let him go. But then we'll be leaking in that position. Lacroix and Joshua Chimpong. Actually, Joshua Chimpong can tweak here. Wesley Fofana also. Wesley Fofana actually played there in preseason and it was looking good. But over the long run, is it the right position for him? We don't know who are yet to say. Lacroix and Achimpong. Achimpong has been stated that he wants to go, but he also came out to say, not him, they've actually also come out to say something like he's not really wanting to go, that he just needed assurance from Xabi Alonso that he's actually going to be very important in the squad and he's going to have game time with all of these no champions and all of that. Left to me, send this guy out on a loan, let him play the game he wants to play. Let's see what he's actually made of. Let's see what he can do. Can he keep his head in the game for 90 minutes? Is it 60 minutes he can keep his head in the game? Mentality wise, all of that. And actually, Colwill and Ato and Asemino, I'm actually fine with Asemino staying. I don't want him to go out on loan. He has looked solid, especially in this Colwill position or in this Hato position. And this is where I actually like our defense a little bit. That almost all of these players can play anywhere around along this line, three-man defense backline. So it's actually quite versatile, and also our attack is also quite versatile. In a way, our midfield is also versatile. But this is something that has hurt us a lot in some situations where, yes, they are versatile, but that is not their bone of contention. That is not their place where they can actually thrive in. And so we tend to see a lot of those mistakes, some errors that lead to goal and all of that. Sanchez and my penalties, this is quite very straightforward because Sanchez has been good. Some people will still say, oh, they have PTSD from his mistakes and all of that, but those were because those coaches actually did force him to do what he was not good at. Yes, I understand that it's not like you can saying that part of he's not good at is kind of a blemish to his white, but not all goalkeepers can play like a Manunoya that used to rush outside and like tackle ball or do all of those stuff. Not all goalkeepers can do all of those high reflexes like Courtois. Yes, I know that is the aim we are looking for, or that's the aim we are supposed to be. But Sanchez is actually quite good. Mike Pendas as a backup is also good. He's going to put Sanchez on his toe because Mike Pendas has been solid against for Strasbourg last season. But that's it for me. And the other way they could line up is actually like this in a 4-4-2, low block, mid block kind of situation, especially when we're playing against teams like Man City, Arsenal in some situations, but I don't really care about Arsenal, Aston Villa, and then Manchester United actually also. This 4-4-2 mid block is one of the, how can I explain it? It's like when you have the ability to not overrun and not overexert energy when you know that you're not going to have the ball so much. Because if you line up in a situation where you are pressing an high line against a team like in Manchester City or even let's say Aston Villa, where they play quick plays, transition football, you might be cut off against their fast players. So and it happened to us a lot last season, although those people were Tosin. Tosin is not in this squad. Send him out. Like literally, send that guy out. We saw like news that I think is it Ayas or Benfica is interested in him because is it Marco Silva was one of his managers previously and then he wants him. I don't know how true it is. True it is. It's allegedly. So yeah, let Tosin go. Badiashile is linked with Napoli. Let that one go. The other guy, oh my friend, I love this guy so much. He has gone to Como. I'm so happy for him. At least now he has a new home. He has a place where his brain is not always thinking, am I in the squad? I'm not in the squad. Am I in the squad? I'm not in the squad and all of that. So that's it for me, guys, in this video. I just hope it has given you a little bit insight of how I think Chelsea is going to line up this season. And we'll see a lot of this. We'll see a lot of more tweaking. We'll see a lot of more 4-3-3 kind of situation. But we have a lot of players that actually need to be offloaded. This team that I've seen here, maybe except for Pedro Neto, maybe someone else can come for Pedro Neto, or maybe Jim Gittins takes in that spot with Morgan Rogers and Nicolas Jackson. We will see how that one goes as the window is still open. 2 weeks more for the window. The season is going to start next week, and I'm looking to drop more videos for other clubs like an Arsenal, like Manchester City, Liverpool, all of these major clubs, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all of that. But catch you guys in the next one. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell me that in the comment section. Which player do you want to see stay? Do you want any of these players to still remain at this club? Do you want any of them to go? I'm not talking about Emmanuel Omega because he's injured at the moment, but I think he's going to play. I think he's going to play. So, catch you guys in the next one.